unflavored kind. And you've got to steep it nice and strong so it hits that deeply bitter profile. If it tastes like water, you didn't steep it long enough. And the science absolutely backs this up. A 2017 study showed dandelion directly stimulates bile production.
Next, we toss in half a fresh lemon. This compounds the effect by adding a powerful second bitter signal. Plus, the enzymes in the peel oils actively stimulate your digestion. Now, if you choose to blend whole lemons and freeze them into cubes, which by the way is a fantastic time-saving trick, just make sure you're using organic lemons to avoid pesticides on the peel. If you can only find conventional ones, no problem, just be sure to give them a really thorough baking soda wash first.
Finally, we add 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Now, I know putting oil in your tea sounds a little crazy, but listen, your gallbladder flat out refuses to release bile until it detects the presence of fat. That is the trigger. The bitter taste from the tea primes the pump, but the small dose of healthy fat is what actually forces the gallbladder to dump that bile. So, you've cut out the sugar, you've gone low carb, you're faithfully getting your steps in after meals, but that stubborn belly fat? Yeah, it literally will not budge. Does that sound familiar? Listen, if you're feeling incredibly frustrated right now, I want to completely validate what you're going through, because here's what nobody told you. The problem isn't your stomach, and it is definitely not a lack of willpower.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely shift the paradigm on how you view stubborn weight. I'm so excited to introduce you to the core concept that belly fat is actually a liver problem. Over the next few minutes, we're going to unpack exactly how this hidden connection works, and I'll share a super simple $2 3-ingredient morning solution you can whip up in 60 seconds to get your liver functioning like it should again.
All right, here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll be covering the real belly fat culprit, the liver and bile connection, that bitter 3-ingredient drink I mentioned, the 14-day morning protocol, and we'll wrap up with your timeline and some important warnings. Let's dive right into section 1, the belly fat culprit.
To really understand the problem, we have to talk about your liver. Now, your liver performs over 500 different jobs, but crucially, it's the organ that decides what to do with your body fat. When it gets congested, it just starts storing that fat right around your midsection, creating what we call visceral fat. You guys, this isn't just normal harmless fat. This is trapped belly fat that actively drives inflammation, insulin resistance, and the exact metabolic diseases we are constantly trying to avoid.
To put the scale of this issue into perspective, just look at this number. According to a 2024 study from The Lancet, nearly 1 in 3 American adults has a fatty liver. 1 in 3! And what's truly wild about that? Most of those people have absolutely no idea, simply because doctors rarely test for it in the early stages.
This analogy brilliantly illustrates what having a fatty liver actually means. Picture your liver as a kitchen sponge. A healthy liver is like a fresh, clean sponge that effortlessly soaks up and wrings out fat for energy. But a fatty liver, it's like a clogged, greasy sponge that's been bogged down by years of seed oils, sugar, and ultra-processed foods. It just won't wring out. The fat gets trapped. And this is exactly why your belly won't budge no matter how clean your diet is. If the sponge is clogged, absolutely nothing is moving.
Moving right along to section 2, the liver and bile connection.
Here's the thing. Your liver doesn't break down fat all by itself. It relies on a very special fluid called bile. Think of bile as the heavy-duty dish soap for your body fat. You would never try to wash a greasy, baked-on frying pan with just cold water, right? It just wouldn't work. You need soap. Well, in your body, that fat-dissolving soap is bile.
The math on this is incredibly straightforward. Sluggish bile means fat gets trapped and all your dieting efforts basically stall out. But when you have free-flowing bile, that fat finally breaks down, your energy shoots up, and that stubborn belly fat actually starts to drop. Now, the science of how we actually get that bile flowing is fascinating. A 2023 paper in the journal Cells revealed that tasting bitter compounds triggers bile release within minutes. Not swallowing a pill, but actually tasting bitterness on your tongue. It sends a signal straight to your brain, which then tells your gallbladder to dump bile. This is exactly how our ancestors did it for thousands of years, by eating dandelion greens and arugula before meals, way before our modern diets made literally everything taste overwhelmingly sweet.
Which brings us to section 3, the bitter 3-ingredient drink.
With that mechanism in mind, here's the highly accessible 60-second remedy you can make to trigger that exact bile release. It costs about $2. Step 1 is dandelion root tea. Step 2 is half a fresh lemon. And step 3 is 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. It's totally keto-friendly and super cheap. Let's break down exactly why each of these ingredients is non-negotiable.
First up, we have dandelion root tea. Think of this as the engine of the entire drink. It's been used for literally thousands of years to support liver health. You want to grab the unflavored kind, and you've got to steep it nice and strong so it hits that deeply bitter profile. If it tastes like water, you didn't steep it long enough. And the science absolutely backs this up. A 2017 study showed dandelion directly stimulates bile production.
Next, we toss in half a fresh lemon. This compounds the effect by adding a powerful second bitter signal. Plus, the enzymes in the peel oils actively stimulate your digestion. Now, if you choose to blend whole lemons and freeze them into cubes, which by the way is a fantastic time-saving trick, just make sure you're using organic lemons to avoid pesticides on the peel. If you can only find conventional ones, no problem, just be sure to give them a really thorough baking soda wash first.
Finally, we add 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Now, I know putting oil in your tea sounds a little crazy, but listen, your gallbladder flat out refuses to release bile until it detects the presence of fat. That is the trigger. The bitter taste from the tea primes the pump, but the small dose of healthy fat is what actually forces the gallbladder to dump that bile into your gut.
Okay, I have to emphasize this massive warning. Do not, under any circumstances, add honey, sugar, or any sweeteners to this drink. Yes, the first sip is going to be intensely bitter, but that is entirely the point. Adding anything sweet will instantly kill the very signal to your brain that we're trying to activate. You've got to embrace the bitter to get the result.
All right, let's look at Section 4, the 14-day morning protocol.
Knowing how to make this drink is only half the battle. Knowing exactly when to consume it is what maximizes that fat-burning magic. You need to drink this first thing in the morning on a completely empty stomach. That means before your coffee and before any food. Give it a good stir and sip it slowly over about 10 minutes. Then, and this is critical, wait 30 to 45 minutes before eating anything. That fasting gap is what allows your liver and gallbladder to do their heavy lifting completely uninterrupted. When you try this, I want you to actively pay attention to your body. Within about 20 minutes of your very first cup, ask yourself, does your stomach feel warm, almost like a little furnace just turned on? Do you feel noticeably less bloated? If you answer yes to either of those, boom, that is the immediate sign that your bile is successfully waking up and moving. And hey, if you don't feel it on day one, don't stress. A deeply sluggish liver might just need a week of consistency to fully wake up.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, timeline, expectations, and warnings.
Setting a realistic roadmap for your body is absolutely crucial for long-term success here. During days 1 through 3, some folks do feel a bit of mild nausea. Totally normal. Just cut the olive oil in half if you need to. By days 4 and 5, your morning bloating should disappear and your digestion will become much more regular. By week 2, you're going to notice a significant morning energy surge, completely without relying on coffee. And then days 10 through 14 is when that stubborn visceral fat actually begins to mobilize. That's when you'll notice your pants literally feeling looser around the middle.
Now, full transparency here. This drink is a multiplier, not a magic bullet. If you're eating ultra-processed junk food all day, this isn't going to outwork a bad diet. It works best when it amplifies a solid foundation of whole foods, things like meat, vegetables, and healthy fats. Also, if you currently take probiotics or eat probiotic yogurt for your gut health, definitely keep doing that. A clean running liver and a healthy gut are the twin pillars of losing belly fat. They complement each other perfectly.
Please also pay really close attention to these vital medical warnings. If you've had your gallbladder removed, you need to scale way back. Start with just 1 single teaspoon of olive oil. If you have active gallstones, you must consult your doctor before trying this, because bitter herbs will cause stones to move, and that can be dangerous if they're large. And lastly, if you're on blood thinners or specific liver medications, please check with your physician, as dandelion root can interact with certain prescriptions.
We are ending this explainer exactly where we started, but now you have a completely new lens on the issue. Your belly fat isn't a stomach problem. It is a liver problem. You now understand the mechanism, you've got the $2 recipe, and you know the exact 14-day protocol to finally unclog that sponge. So the only question left for you is, are you ready to embrace the bitter, flush out that trapped fat, and finally let your body